if the public had known the truth about the way this investigation and trial proceeded.
Well, this has been one of Lancashire's longest-running murder investigations.
They were heard making sick jokes about chopping up her body and putting it into a kebab.
And then the stuff that was coming out in the court, it was evident that something was wrong, badly wrong.
They had to be restrained. Robert Downs, Charlene's father, had to be restrained as he left court. He was so upset.
I heard some of the evidence. I knew immediately it was thin and contestable. They didn't just have the difficulty of not having a body. It seemed that they didn't have any forensic evidence at all.
An astonishing catalogue of incompetence, manipulation and lies within the prosecution announced that it couldn't offer any evidence against Mohammed Reveshi.
They'd been falsely accused of the gravest of crimes. Incredible luck, in a sense, that the jury failed to reach a verdict.
This does not mean that the investigation that was launched when Charlene disappeared is at an end. The inquiry will remain open.
Everybody in this town thinks Eddie is guilty. They hate him.
We go to court and you are found not guilty, and then you go through hell, you are not guilty, and still people say you're guilty. So what's the point of all the process then?
It's about answers. Charlene's name. We need to know where she is and what genuinely has happened to her.
Charlene's story is featured in a national magazine.
15 years ago today, teenager Charlene Downs
disappeared from her home in Blackpool exactly 15 years ago. She was 14.
Karen's next. They've done many interviews over the last 15 years.
I will never be the same again. And I never want any other family to go through what we've been through.
Writing the book and putting your account, has it helped you at all?
Yes, it's helped me. Yes, and it's helped me get the point across about grooming gangs, because I'm very, very strong about getting the word out to parents.
What do you think did happen?
I don't know. I live in hope that she's still alive. I mean, I don't think she is, but I just try and live each day as it comes in the hope that one day she'll come back. It's been nearly 15 years, it's been a while. It was better than that. It's the weather that's tarnished it. It's the weather.
You'd be a bit tarnished without the weather for 15 years, wouldn't you?
Can you just come in, just come a little closer, that's it. And hold hands here. That's it.
It's getting it out there. Proves she's never going to be forgotten. That's one thing she'll never be. She will never be forgotten. God bless my darling. See you again. Which one's a plaque? I can't remember.
I see it right here. Right
Can
there.
you see it there? Oh, yeah.
1, 2, 3 there. By that tree
Oh,
there.
yeah.
15 years on, and all he's got is a plaque and a bench. Yeah.
We have no body, we have no grave. So we have to have something there. Grieve for and for us to, you know, remember her by.
The courts, like say, did their best. They knew they had the right guys. Then they had to let them go. But that's a free justice for you, is it?
Thinking that they were walking free and my little girl I had no closure, I had no justice, nothing.
Are you sure it's them?
Oh, I'm certain it's them. I'm certain.
Reveshi and Albatiki?
I've never had any doubt. I've never had any doubt in my mind that it's them. When I heard those covert tapes, it put no doubt in my mind whatsoever.
Could you actually hear what they were saying?
I could hear what they were saying, yeah, muffled. Some of it I could, yeah. I heard enough to incriminate them anyway. All the little things that they said, and he said, oh, and Reveshi, I will never forgive myself. I cannot talk about that girl. I cannot forgive myself what I have done. All those things. And I killed her in anger. That was Albatiki as well in the court. I heard that as plain as day on the tape. I heard that as plain as day.
Karen Downs definitely feels let down by the police. I think she feels let down by everybody. I've known the family for 15, 16 years now. I was commissioned to ghostwrite a book on Karen's story.
And I said, I know what I heard on them tapes. And he called back and said, no, you see,
This is one of the strangest and most bizarre stories I've ever been involved with. The idea of what happened to Charlene, it fascinates me, and it troubles me, and it haunts me.
Thanks to you, my daughter will never get justice, you fucking bitch. I have you sleeping.
It's easy to judge Karen Downs. She ticks a lot of boxes. She's a poor, white, working-class mother.
It's not going to take place. I was absolutely gutted. You've let them two evil bastards.
When I first met her, she was genuinely worried and scared and frightened.
Due to the evidence and difficulties, blah, blah, blah.
Hello, Joe Cusack.
You're the guy that's writing the book about Charlene Downs.
Oh, yeah.
I've got some information for you. But if you do, don't want to be identified.
Okay, bye. Okay?
Yeah.
Does feel a bit strange, out in the middle of nowhere, in a car park in the dark. I understand that you were in prison at the same time as Ayad Al-Batihi.
I was on remand for 6 months. He was going round saying that he'd got rid of her.
He got rid of her?
Yeah. So why are you saying it if you're not guilty? Baffles me.
Yeah.
You know, and it baffled everybody else. You know, everyone was saying, that's that fucking guy that shot that girl.
So just to be clear, Al-Batihi was going round the wing at Preston Prison saying that he'd killed or done Charlene Downs in and got rid of her.
I was told that he had told somebody that he had got rid of her. That's what I was told.
So, did you actually meet Ayad Al-Batihi? Did you come face to face with him?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know him. I didn't know her. I don't know. I'm not. I could walk past him in the street. I wouldn't recognise him. Is it a myth? Is it, you know, did he dismember her? Did he put her in kebab meat, or is it all a myth? Like, you know, I don't know.
Do you believe that?
No.
No?
No.
It may sound cynical, but I've heard stories like this ever since I started following this case. I have to take a lot of what I hear with a pinch of salt. But two of the things that are stamped all over this investigation are rumours and unhappiness. And there seems to be a lot of unhappiness that follows Ayad Al-Batihi around, but I'm definitely on his trail. I'm going to meet a woman that used to work for Al-Batihi, and she grew up in the same neighbourhood as Charlene Downs. She had a compelling testimony on how she started going in and out of the takeaways.
I did used to work for Ayad. One time, Ayad took us into a room. When I went in there was just this girl. She had her pants out her ankles and her eyes was rolling at the back of her head. This man was having sex with her, and he was also performing oral sex on her as well. I'd say she was a few years older than me, probably about 15. And as the night progressed, and he touched me from my ankle towards my vagina and grabbed my vagina and asked me if I wanted to fuck him like they was fucking and to be his bitch.
How old were you at the time?
I was 12 years old.
I definitely think that Ayad Al-Batihi has a lot of skeletons in his cupboard, some questions to answer. I'll bet that one day those questions will catch up with him. Mohammed Raveshi is a different kettle of fish.
Come on.
It's very rare that you hear anything untoward about his behaviour. However, one young woman will give us very engaging and believable testimony about Mohammed Raveshi.
Come on, Emma. Come in the sun. Come in the sun is better because otherwise it would be dark. Oh, come on, please.
Do you remember all the dress?
Yeah, I remember, yeah. This, that little girl, it was her birthday. Me and the little one's mother and the younger sister, Emma, we are just making her day special, really.
Yeah, something like that.
A video? Is that you?
Was that the video we had?
Sorry?
Was that the video?
Yeah.
And
That's the video.
He videoed me. It is back garden in that house. Picking apples off the tree and we were dancing about.
Okay, Ruben. Look, Emma's dancing.
I remember being at that back garden. I was about 13, 14. It's hard.
Some of the girls tell us the police made them say things that weren't true. Did the police put pressure on you?
This statement, so-called, she made, it suddenly came up in court, and even my solicitor was surprised about that. If somebody make allegation like that, surely you give the person opportunity to, make a response, but nothing like that. Why?
Dance. Come on, Emma's dancing. Right, I'm going away. Go on.
He got me and my sister to work one night. The hotel that he owned. At first he was okay. He had told me and my sister that the only place that we could sleep would be the bed in the basement, where he also slept too.
Not me.
Of course, we argued the whole night who was sleeping beside him. I woke up and his hands were down my pants with his fingers inside. I rolled over, kind of pushed them off, and made like a big noise, just just to get them off me. Didn't want to think about it. But today, it's difficult. It's hard.
Some of the girls tell us the police made them say things that weren't true. Did the police put pressure on you?
When I look back, the way they rang me on the phone, and then a few days later, they were knocking my door. A few days after that, I was going to court. I felt pressured. The police said I had to. I had no choice. But I thought I was doing the right thing for Charlene's family.
How can you, 4 of you sleep in one bed? It's not possible. Her sister was with me at the time. How can you do something like that, in front of her sister? Her sister said, this is not the case. That's why they never interviewed me, they never put it to me at all.
I swear I'll never change, ever. Word for word. You'll just hear the same story in 15 years to come.
You okay? Sorry.
When I was younger, I didn't think of it like that. But now I'm older and I have my own little girl. It's scary.
There are so many contradictory stories. But the thing I ask myself time and time again, are 2 paedophiles walking the streets because of the way the police dealt with this case?
The organised grooming of children for sex, with 13 men jailed for grooming girls in Bristol just last week. Back in 2003, 14-year-old Charlene Downs vanished. With us tonight is Detective Superintendent Andrew Webster, who is heading up this new team and this new investigation.
Yeah, we recognise and we have said that mistakes have been made in the original investigation, that the process was flawed, and we have learnt those lessons. We've reviewed the evidence which was presented against Albertiki and Raveshi, and I'm satisfied at this juncture there isn't any solid evidence which would lead us to believe that they're responsible for killing Charlene Downs. Well, I picked up this investigation in 2014. It is a really, really challenging case, but I'm as committed as the rest of the team to trying to find answers, to find out what happened to Charlene. When you start afresh, you go back to what is the last confirmed sighting. We know that she started the day on Saturday, 1st of November, at her home address, was 109 Buchanan Street. What we've done, we've looked at the CCTV around that period, and we've recovered an image of Charlene. Charlene is seen there crossing the road on Saturday, 1st of November 2003. Charlene was last seen alive and well with her sister. On the day Charlene went missing, we know that she met an elderly white male outside Mecca Bingo in Blackpool, where she was given a sum in the region of £70. But what we can say is that we do know that Charlene led a lifestyle that needed money. We believe that she was a victim of child sex exploitation, and that's how she got the money.
I need to let people know that she wasn't this person that everyone perceives. She wasn't a prostitute. She wasn't a dirty little gremlin. She was a lovely human being who loved the bones of anyone and everything that was nice to her. I see people now in the street, everyone's like, oh yeah, she was on the game, she's doing this, she's doing that, when not one person took 5 minutes out to think about what that poor child was going through. And then bang, and it just snapped, and she acted like she didn't give a fuck anymore. That's what it was. Because she used to be dead caring and all that, and then all of a sudden, she changed. That's the house where Charlene went missing in. The first bedroom, the one without the curtains on, that was Robert's bedroom. The next one was Charlene's. I used to stay in Robert's room, and then halfway through the night, I'd catch a Charlene next to me at the bottom of Robert's bed. At the time, I just thought, you miss me, old best mate? But now when you think about it, why don't you stay in your own bed?
Why do you think she came into you?
I don't know, maybe she was scared, or it's one of them, isn't it? We'll never know, will we?
Contacted a lot of people who knew Charlene. Very few of them want to speak to us on camera. However, one of the persons that I have spoken to has put me in touch with this lady, and she's called me. We've had a brief chat over the phone about some of the things that have been going on at the Downs family home in Buchanan Street. I feel absolutely certain that this person's got something to contribute. So I definitely think that we should spend some time speaking to this person and seeing what she's got to say. I know this isn't an easy thing for you, but yeah, thank you so much. The 16th of the 10th, 2004. The 19th of the 11th, 2003. I've always been a huge defender of the Downs family, but what I'm reading here is it's indefensible. It's really quite damning. It makes for difficult reading. It says here in these reports that there was a man, a friend of Bob Downs apparently, who was staying at the Downs home at the time. And that he'd made sexual advances towards Charlene. Jesus. I'm going to knock on the door of this man in these files. I want to see what he's got to say. I want to know what happened between him and Charlene Downs. And if that means knocking up a paedophile in his grotty little hellhole, well then that's fine by me. Let's see what he's got to say. Right, let's do this. Okay. Peg, can you give me 5 minutes of your time?
No.
You want the truth. Well, have you seen all the stuff from the Downs family?
No.
Yeah, and we really want you to set the record straight. You could explain how you came to be staying with the Downs.
I'm not going to answer no questions. I regret knowing about me.
Bollocks. Karen, it's Joe Cusack. I want to ask you about AKA.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Can I read you something that I've got about this man and ask you to respond to it?
Of course.
Okay. After Charlene's disappearance, it was stated in a police report that AKA a 40-year-old friend of Robert Downs admitted that he paid Charlene to masturbate him. That he had told Karen Downs that he had feelings for Charlene, but he said he would wait until she was old enough. Did he ever say that to you, Karen?
He told me that what he did tell me was, he said he fancied her, he had feelings for her when she was 14, and I said to him, fuck off, she's a 14-year-old girl, you dirty bastard. But he never told me anything about anything else.
Did you ask him to leave your house? Did he?
He's going to be asking Bob about this. Is it okay if I pass Bob over?
Yeah, go on.
What do you make of that, Bob?
This is all fucking new to me, I'll tell you that now, because I'll tell you I knew nothing of that. The only thing I did, I sent Charlene down to go and knock on and say, we had to play it so we can go for a drink. And then she comes straight back, but I had nothing of that fatality.
Okay. Sending your kid. Why would you send a 14-year-old girl across town on a bike to knock on the door of a fella to ask if he's coming for a drink? I don't know what to think and don't know what to feel. Still got to try and keep hold of the fact that Karen Downs is a mother who's lost their 14-year-old girl.
There's plenty of evidence to back this up, that a convicted sex offender lived at the house for a time, and several men visited the house, that they visited the house in order to gain access to the children and to sexually abuse them.
Charlene's father is a heavy drinker. There's been umpteen times when he's come back and he's punched things, he's threatened Karen. I've witnessed it on first hand. And Karen puts up with all the abuse when he comes back. And he's just horrible when he's had a few too many.
I'm quite soft as a parent, and I just give in to them for a quiet life, whereas Bob wouldn't. He's stricter than me as a parent, a lot stricter than me. He'd shout a lot at them. He used to think, well, my voice is enough, and if his voice wasn't enough, he'd smack them on the legs.
It wasn't just the legs he had, though, Karen, was it?
No, he'd grab hold of them and throw them up drag them up into the bedroom, put them in the bedroom. I didn't like it. I'd leave them alone, Don't do that, please don't do that. Quite forceful into the bedroom. Get in your fucking bedroom and behave yourselves. Excuse my language.
I heard this story too many times from people who seemed to care about what happened to Charlene. that there was a lot of violence going on in that household, and not just from outsiders, that Bob brought in from the pub.
I met Robert Downs in a pub when I was drinking heavily. We just got talking in the pub, become friends, and that's it.
What, he just invited you back?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just you he invited back, was it?
Yeah, but they weren't really staying, they were just drinking with us all night. So I think he just invited them back so they were buying the beer.
When I went out to the pub, I could go out myself and talk and laugh and joke and sing and do all sorts. So when I like say, before I get too actually drunk, and then I said, I want to go home now, and then I said, I'll get a carry out, but it'll come out for a drink. What's wrong with that?
That's it, is it?
Yeah, that's what I thought anyway. They were buying the beer, so he was inviting them back, so he was drinking it. Seemed like a good idea at the time. He weren't paying for it.
Is that a bit weird? A bit odd?
Yeah, I thought so, but...
Charlene made reports to social services that some of these men acted inappropriately towards her.
There's only one, not men, one, as far as I knew of.
Could you tell me about that one?
That was Raymond Monroe.
A man called Raymond Monroe, who had pleaded guilty to 4 counts of sexual abuse of 10-year-old children, stayed in the Downs home the day Charlene disappeared.
Oh, Ray Monroe, that's it, Raymondo. He was just a bloke in the pub that drank with us. I saw Charlene sitting on Monroe's lap once, but I just didn't think it was right, a young kid like that sitting on his lap. Well, it just didn't look right because he's had his arm round her and everything, and I thought, that's not right. She's a 13-year-old kid, you know what I mean? I just had a word with him.
And what happened?
He knows I'd have killed him on the spot.
And 3 days after she disappeared, Bob Downs went to the sentencing of Monroe. He was given 4.5 years in prison for the sexual abuse.
But I didn't know, like I said, that he didn't confess to me, like I said, touching the girls, until I found that out in court.
I was horrified about Ray Monroe as well. And I found out. You know, I mean, I didn't know at the time, though, else I would have never have had them in the house. I've never had them over my doorstep. Thinking back, hindsight's a funny thing. It is a strange thing. If I'd have known then, or I know now, they'd have never been in the house.
Were you honest with the police the whole time?
Of course.
Were there some things you just didn't want to tell the police?
Such as? Like,
is there anything you didn't want to tell them?
No, I was perfectly honest with the police.
Hello? Hi, it's Blackpool Police here. We just received a 999 call on your phone. Is there a problem?
Well, what it is, my daughter's been missing since Saturday night. We thought she'd have been back by now, but she hasn't returned.
You know when you first reported Charlene
Yes.
missing? When did that happen?
I phoned on the Sunday, and they told me to wait 24 hours. To my horror, I said, well, 24 hours, she's a child. Why do I have to wait 24 hours?
She's been missing since when?
Saturday evening, about 8 o'clock.
I had phoned previous. Was this Monday? Because I had phoned previous to that.
Saturday evening at what time?
It was roughly about 8 o'clock. She came down, because I work, you see, she came down to see me at work. And she said, oh, I'll see you later, Mum. She went off for the phone, and I've not seen her since.
How old is she?
14.
How come you've not reported her till now when she's only 14?
Well, we thought she might have come back, you see.
I reported her on the Sunday, the bloody liars.
We left it to see if she'd come back, you see, but obviously she's not. I know I should have reported it before.
What's she called?
Charlene.
And at first I thought, where's she gone? Of course, like any parent would have done. I thought, where did she go? So I said, go and phone the police. She said, I can't go and phone the police. I said, yes, you can, go phone the police. And she ain't come back.
Are you at 109 Buchanan now?
Yes, I am, yeah. I've got to go out. Sorry, I've got to go out shortly, though. But
I'm sorry, your daughter's 14 and you need to stay in so we can take anything from her. Right, okay, we'll get someone to speak to you.
We just sat up and sat downstairs with the light on, the door unlocked, and I sat in my chair and I was waiting for her to come back through the door, and she didn't come back through the door.
Karen Downs has always insisted to me that she called the police when she first realised Charlene Downs hadn't come home on Saturday night. But we now know for a fact that she didn't call the police until Monday. Is this because she didn't want the police coming round to her house asking questions? With Ray Monroe, a known sex offender, awaiting sentence, sitting on the couch next to her.
There's always people coming and going. I remember one of the sisters, they had an older boyfriend. She was about 15, 16, and the boyfriend was about 50 or 60.
Rebecca's the second eldest, and you get Charlene and Robert. We all knew she was sleeping with him. I mean, he was a 50-odd-year-old bloke. Karen knew. Charlene's dad knew.
Becky, who were you living with when you were young?
The old guy that I was living with at the time.
How old were you?
I was 14.
And how old was he?
He was in his 50s, but he wasn't my boyfriend. No, he was not. I was staying at that. He had a 2-bedroom flat and I was staying there at the time. Yes, I was. I was just prepared not to live back in the family home. Upsetting, isn't it?
It is upsetting.
Yeah.
You're also not explaining why.
I'm leaving it there.
And I remember going into their flat and they were just supplying us with fags and booze, you know. We was only 13, 12 at the time. And it would go, yeah, give us some food, and they'll go in the bedroom to talk. And yeah, that'll be it. And I'd be in the house when this would be going on, so I didn't think of anything about it at that time. I really didn't.
It looks like the Downs have had an open door policy for every pedant and paedophile and dirty old bastard in Blackpool to come and go as they want. It is documented that Charlene Downs attended the NHS walk-in centre 13 times in 12 months. Her injuries included bruising to the inner thigh.
Any clinician at all would recognise as a sign of sexual abuse and violence.
Yeah, I believe she went there, but I believe she had some soreness down below, but she never really said, because my mum took her. But she just said she had sore down below. She didn't say it was for any sexual things or anything like that. My mum took her. My mum never told me anything like that either. Well, she didn't tell me. If she did, she went to the sex. She went there. I know she went there a few times, but it wasn't. I had no idea why she went there. She never ever disclosed anything to me about anything like that.
Did you kill your daughter?
Did I what? No, I did not kill my daughter.
Have you ever knowingly taken money from other men so they could have sex with your children?
No. There was an incident where they said that somebody gave me 20 quid so that it could have a session with my daughter in the old bus station. No, I did not take 20 quid off, just so they could go and do that to my daughter.
Which daughter was that?
I can't remember now. I think it was Charlene, I think.
It's actually 2 copies, and I've got to get one for Becky as well. Oh, and one of the plaque, they've took one of her plaque as well. Oh, that's there. See? There's a copy for you to have a look at. If I... Where's the book? Strange, I've never wrote a book before, but I'm very glad that I did to get the word out there and to get the message out there for other people and to help Charlene get justice and to talk about my life and to talk about issues that have gone on and to talk about Charlene as well. Yeah.
Can I show you the picture of somebody and just ask you if you know him? Just have a think about when you look at his face and just see if you know this guy. Do you know him?
Yeah.
Okay, just a reminder, folks, the reward's still there, £100,000 for information which leads to us identifying either where Charlene's been disposed of or information which leads to the conviction. As part of our investigative plan, we've sought to identify all the children who were under 18 on the 1st of November 2003 to trace those and ask them if they knew anything about Charlene or about CSE that was occurring at and around that time.
We are currently standing at just short of 700 people who were children who were under 18. Back in 2003, we've seen and spoken with about 340 of those.
Yeah.
Around 50 have identified themselves as in fact being a victim of a sexual offence.
Okay.
That is circa 2003.
There's a couple of messages that have come in the last couple of weeks, one of which was from a girl who knew Charlene Downs, and she went to a premises with her. This girl hadn't been in the inquiry before, the premises wasn't in the inquiry before, so that's a live line that we're really pursuing.
We're actively going out there, seeing people who we know were associated to Charlene in 2003. But you know, we're also looking at child sex exploitation. So if they make disclosures that have happened in 2008 or 1998, you know, we're still very much interested in that.
From your point of view, it's a huge task. You're climbing a mountain. It's a nest of paedophiles.
Blackpool has its unique challenges. You know, it's a seaside town which has a transient population. We have to work with the budgets which we have, and you know, we will try to provide the best service to victims of crime. You know, if you look at resources, it's always going to be challenging. You know, there's always more demand in terms of work for police officers than there is supply of police officers to do that work.
Children are no safer today in Blackpool than they were when Charlene went missing. Nothing's changed. The problem for me is that we talk about the hidden problem of child sexual abuse today. It's not hidden. It's there in plain sight.
Not just Charlene, what it's happened to, I can think of like another 5 girls who haven't been killed, but have still gone through that process, and just end up 5-6 years down the line, they've gone into like the sex industry and stuff like that, and it's all came from a young age.
I'd 100% say that Blackpool, the place where I grew up in, it is full of paedophiles.
There's a hell of a lot. I mean, on my street there's 2 that are registered. Kids are being groomed in Blackpool, 100% guaranteed. Because you see it around now, all the time. You do see it all over Blackpool. You walk home, 10:30 at night, you've got 12, 13-year-olds in Blackpool town centre on a Saturday night.
It's a playground for paedophiles. Where would you go to not get caught, to not look like obvious? You go to a place where children are always there. You go to a place where deprived children are there. Vulnerable children. It makes it easy for them to do what they want to do.
I'm going to see a young lady called Tyne Yates. I understand she was with Charlene on the day that she went missing. This young girl is exactly how I imagined Charlene would be if she was alive today. Okay, did you go to all these places?
Yeah, I went with Charlene. We used to get given drugs and alcohol all the time. That's the fact that we used to go in there.
Charlene with you in this
Yeah.
place?
This is it. Charlene introduced me to these.
Okay.
I'll show you down the alley where I used to go. Packy Alley is there, on the right-hand side here. I used to come here, and Charlene would be sometimes waiting at the bottom of the alley for me, watching, waiting for police to come. And if the police had come, she'd shout me. It was like, this was all a window.
Yeah.
And that was the door we went through.
Yeah.
And Charlene would stand by the door and I'd do it there. And I'd give her half of the money for making sure I was all right. Charlene weren't here when I lost my virginity in this alley. I was with my mum. And the punter said to her, I don't want you, I want her. And my mum said, you can't have her, she's 13, she's my daughter. And he said, I'll give you £250. So my mum got paid £250 and given me £10 for school the next day. I felt proud that I could help my mum earn that money.
Okay.
Yeah. I used to cry myself to sleep.
I've heard so many stories like Tyne's, stories of kids having their lives stolen from them. Charlene was just another one of these poor, vulnerable kids that are so easily preyed upon. No one reported her missing until days after she disappeared. That kid didn't stand a chance.
If we look at Charlene's very short life, she was abused throughout it by a number of men. We have to ask the question, who is responsible for protecting our children? Who was responsible for protecting Charlene? Her parents? Clearly that didn't happen. The neighbours? Extended family? Again, that didn't happen. She was let down by social services, by the police. Who was left to protect Charlene? There was nobody.
This story keeps me awake at night. It absolutely haunts me. Really sticks in me gut. Somebody out there knows exactly what's happened to Charlene Downs. And I'm determined to be the one that finds them. Can I show you the picture of somebody and just ask you if you know him? Just have a think about when you look at his face and just see if you know this guy. Do you know him?
Yeah. I stayed at his bed and breakfast for about 3 weeks. He used to let me off money. But he's a creep.
In what way is he a creep?
Always around you and always knocking on your door. And at the hotel, always knocking on your door asking if you want anything. You don't have to pay for tonight. And stuff like that.
Did you have sex with him?
No.
You just
I've done oral.
This is Nigel Lloyd. He's a 50-something from Godalming in Surrey. He works in the catering industry. He's a chef. He's worked in Scotland, in the Lake District in Wales. He settled in Blackpool. Lloyd was sentenced to 64 months in prison for attacking two 15-year-olds in Blackpool between 2001 and 2003. So this fella was active and in Blackpool at the time when Charlene Downs was skipping up and down that alleyway. This alleyway is the centre of this whole story. It's really depressing, and I'm sure there's a lot of lost souls down here. On the day that Charlene went missing, she was seen in this alleyway 3 times. 3 times she was up and down this godforsaken hellhole with God knows who doing God knows what. What a daunting place to end your life. For years, the investigation's been geared towards takeaway workers that back onto this alley. But on the other side was Nigel Lloyd, who lived in that flat up there with that window overlooking this alleyway. And I think that's where the story lies.